You know what's wild? A package can cross an entire ocean in a single day, but then somehow gets completely lost in a warehouse that's literally a mile from your house. It happens all the time. So let's just jump right into this explainer and figure out how modern supply chains are taking those fragmented, risky operations and transforming them into connected ecosystems. We're going to focus specifically on how SAP Logistics Management unifies logistics across the board. Because let's face it, supply chains today aren't just judged by how cheap they are to run. They are measured by resilience, agility, and above all else, visibility. The rules of the game have totally changed. Logistics is now this massive strategic differentiator. But to actually hit that modern standard, we have to take a hard look at how these networks are built, and more importantly, where the cracks are starting to show. We're going to break down exactly how to move your operation from completely disjointed to perfectly unified.
Look at almost any major enterprise today, and you'll see this crazy two-speed reality. Over in one corner, you've got these massive million-square-foot distribution hubs. They are highly automated, totally visible, and usually running on heavy-duty systems like SAP Extended Warehouse Management, or EWM, and Transportation Management, TM. Those systems give you gorgeous end-to-end visibility. It's basically the future. But then, right in the same company, you've got smaller satellite sites that are completely stuck in the past. I'm talking about temporary lease spaces or pop-up regional centers where people are literally walking around with clipboards and relying on manual spreadsheets. It creates a deeply fractured landscape. You're basically pulling the organization in two completely different directions and leaving a huge chunk of your operation entirely in the dark.
And this disconnect, it doesn't just slow you down, it multiplies your risks exponentially. Having automated hubs running alongside manual satellite warehouses creates what we call fragmented logistics. Because those smaller nodes aren't digitized, you literally cannot see how they're performing in real time. That right there is your performance blind spot. Think about what happens when a massive supply chain shock hits, like a port delay or a sudden massive spike in demand. Handling that disruption becomes nearly impossible because for half your network, you're relying on delayed manual spreadsheet data. I mean, how can you possibly optimize a network if you can't even see the whole thing?
So how do we actually fix this? Well, this brings us right to SAP Logistics Management, or LGM. This is a cloud-native platform built specifically to bridge that gap by digitizing those overlooked satellite sites. Remember our main focus today, how SAP LGM unifies logistics. By bringing a mobile-first, cloud-native approach to the table, LGM isn't just upgrading a single warehouse, it's digitizing every single node in the supply chain. And that mobile-first piece is absolutely critical. Warehouse workers need tools right there in their hands, on the warehouse floor, not tied to some dusty desktop in a back office. The whole future of logistics relies on bringing the entire network online, eliminating those blind spots, and shifting to true end-to-end execution. Rasta Infotech, who are real leaders in digital transformation, hit the nail on the head here. They point out that empowering every single site is what finally creates a unified, visible ecosystem. It doesn't matter if it's a small regional fulfillment center or a warehouse run by a 3PL, a third-party logistics provider. Every location has to be connected. When every site is actively communicating through SAP LGM, you take those risky, fragmented operations we just talked about and you instantly transform them into a fully optimized, visible network. It's really all about bringing the forgotten edges of your supply chain out of the shadows.
Now, whenever we talk about rolling out new software to fix a problem, we have to talk about speed. Because let's be real, traditional IT rollouts are just way too slow for today's market. Imagine you need to spin up a temporary warehouse for a massive holiday rush, and your integration team tells you, sure, we can set up the infrastructure in about 8 to 12 months. In today's highly reactive market, you've already lost. Legacy implementations are weighed down by super heavy, complex requirements. But when market responsiveness is literally everything, waiting a year to bring a satellite warehouse online just isn't going to cut it anymore. Speed has to be the driver here.
So instead of years, SAP LGM cuts that deployment time down to mere weeks. Just think about the operational advantage there. Going from months or years down to just a few weeks means you can react to the market almost instantly. Need to set up that temporary holiday site? You can actually do it. SAP LGM gives you the seasonal flexibility to make it happen without all that traditional friction. Plus, since it's a cloud-native platform, scalability is baked right in from day one. You drastically reduce your dependency on heavy, on-premise IT, and you get to move at the actual speed of consumer demand.
But look, speed of deployment is really only half the battle. The people on the floor actually have to use the system, and adoption barriers almost always come down to complexity. If an app is clunky, workers just won't use it efficiently, which is a huge problem in an industry with high staff turnover. SAP LGM tackles this with a deeply user-centric design. Operators can do all their core tasks, like picking and put away, right from their mobile devices.
The real-time data capture happens effortlessly, and because the interface feels just like the apps we use on our phones every day, it requires minimal training. This guarantees the accuracy and speed a fast-paced supply chain absolutely needs.
Because modern logistics demands holistic management, SAP LGM actually networks 3 crucial steps into one seamless workflow. This is where we see the unification really happen. Step 1 is warehouse execution. All your physical, inside-the-building stuff like picking, packing, and put away. That flows beautifully right into Step 2, transportation dispatching, which handles your small parcels all the way to less than truckload and full truckload dispatching, your LTL and FTL. And finally, Step 3 is freight execution, managing your broader carrier collaboration and shipment tracking. Instead of these functions operating in totally blind silos, LGM ties the whole shebang together.
Now, I want to be super clear about something, because this is vital. LGM doesn't replace your heavy-duty SAP, SEAP, TM, or EWM systems. Not at all. Instead, it perfectly complements them to handle those high-speed, edge scenarios. We are definitely not talking about a rip and replace of the heavy infrastructure at your automated hubs. EWM and TM are still running the show over there, but LGM swoops in to intelligently bridge the gap for the less complex satellite locations. It acts as the perfect companion to your broader architecture, making sure that literally 0 parts of your logistics network are left disconnected.
To pull all this off smoothly, you need a solid transformation partner. Firms like Rasta Infotech don't just do basic consulting. They layer in advanced tech to make your network bulletproof. Obviously, they handle the seamless integration of EWM, TM, and LGM that we just went over. But they take it way further. They're deploying cloud and AI solutions to give you predictive analytics so you can foresee disruptions before they even hit. They lock down your newly digitized supply chain with top-tier cybersecurity. They're even using blockchain for unmatched freight transparency and offering talent solutions to help you build the skilled teams you need to run this new, agile network.
Ultimately, by digitizing this final edge, organizations can finally ditch those dangerous blind spots and step into a connected, AI-driven future. When every single node is online, no matter how small, temporary, or remote it might be, you gain true network-wide visibility. With SAP LGM acting as the enabler and a strategic partner guiding the way, your supply chain becomes fully prepared for whatever crazy market shifts come next. The future of logistics isn't about fragmented complexity. It's about being agile, transparent, and 100% connected.
So I'm going to leave you with this to chew on for your own operations. Are your smaller regional centers currently operating in the dark? And what is that blind spot actually costing your business right now? We've seen today how a two-speed reality creates immense hidden risk. But we've also seen how a cloud-native, mobile-first approach can rapidly unify the entire ecosystem. Take a really close look at the edges of your own network. Bringing them out of the shadows might just be the exact game changer you've been looking for.